Tom, you hear that? You can have the share of the screen.
Yeah, I think I have that capability. So thank you.
Okay, very good. Well, good morning, senior forum members. I'd like to introduce Dr. Thomas Gallagher, Dean of Missoula College. Tom holds an academic rank as professor at the University of Montana Department of Business and Technology.
Oh, good.
He directs the Missoula College Cybersecurity Center for Academic Excellence. He has a master's and a doctorate degree in education leadership from the University of Montana, an MS degree in computer science from Western Washington, and a BA degree in mathematics from Carroll College. Recently, Tom conducted a study examining the impact of student transfer on time to degree in the Montana University system. He's married to Linda McCarthy, the executive director of the Missoula Downtown Association and Partnerships. As a side note, I worked with Linda for 17 years at U of M, where she was associate sports information director. Tom and Linda have a daughter, Madeline, who is a freshman at MSU in environmental studies. He is an avid fly fisherman. So this morning, meet Tom Gallagher.
Hey, Gary, thank you so much for the really wonderful introduction.
You bet.
And Gary and I have known each other for a really long time. I actually met my wife when Gary was working in Grizzly Athletics. And I think that's the first time we got to meet. My roommate at the time was a graduate assistant working for Blaine Taylor. And he was assistant basketball coach, went on and was the head basketball coach at Sentinel High School for a number of years, Joe Fisher. And so I always think that I was very fortunate to be hanging out with my old buddy Joe, because I got to meet my wife. And more importantly, I got to meet Gary Hughes. So that was, both those were influential points in my upbringing. So thanks, Gary. Hey, my name's Tom Gallagher. I serve as the dean at Missoula College. I've been in that role this is year 2. And I've been a faculty member here though for a really long time. It's been about 20 years actually. And as Gary said, I'm a IT computer science professor, and cybersecurity has become a real big focus for all of us. So we started a center of academic excellence here, which is a program that receives its designation from the Department of Homeland Security and the National Security Agency. So there's some interesting things going on with that. I'd like to just kind of, and it's really hard the last year to do this, but I'm going to try to open our doors and just welcome everybody to Missoula College and maybe give you just an overview of some of the things that are going on. We're hoping to see the other side of the pandemic. I think we all are. We're all excited to kind of see us hopefully moving in the right direction here. I got my second vaccine last night, so I think a lot of us are kind of getting to a point where we can see maybe things returning to normal here. We've been really in an interesting position for education because and it's been about 1 year. In March, we had to do a very, very substantial pivot. And we were asked to take everything we're doing and move it to a remote environment. And it wasn't just us. It was our K-12 schools. It was every community college, every university throughout the country was asked to do that. And really, it was an extraordinarily big lift for all of us. And I'm super proud of our people, our faculty, that we're able to do that. Our staff that moved all their, like our academic advising moved everything to the same form that we're doing this morning, moving to Zoom sessions and things like that. So there's a real transition that took place. And when we get to the other side of this, I think we're going to learn a lot as far as maybe new methods for delivering education.
I'm muted.
So I'll talk a little bit about that. I put together a little PowerPoint here. Gary's seen it before, and I'll try not to spend a lot of time on it, but I would like to give you a little bit of kind of open the door. Here's the things that we're doing at Missoula College, and we wish you were here to enjoy those. We have the Blackfoot Cafe on our river level on our building on East Broadway. And it's a wonderful, we overlook the river, and we just have, I think we've been blessed. We have the most wonderful campus in the state of Montana. And that's a great story. It's a great attribute to the city of Missoula. And so we have some really, really great opportunities to provide education here. So let me share my screen. I'll pause there for just a second. Maybe give me a thumbs up or something. Everybody see the screen here? Okay, thank you so much. And I'm having a little bit of problems with my PowerPoint, keeps crashing when I came in earlier this morning, and we'll just work around it if that happens. So Missoula College, if you want to think in a broader context, is the college for the Missoula community. Okay, we're not a community college, but we operate like one. And we are integrated in with the rest of the University of Montana. If you look around the landscape at the state of Montana, there's actually 19 colleges that offer 2-year degrees. And just give you a rough kind of picture of the landscape. So we have integrated colleges, 2-year colleges at the University of Montana, which Missoula College is, at Montana Tech, and they have Highlands College. At MSU, they have Gallatin College, and over in MSU Billings, they have City College. And so all those colleges follow a similar model where we're integrated in with the rest of the flagship, in our case, institution or 4-year campus. We also have MSU Northern up in Havre and Western in Dillon that also offer some 2-year degrees. And so they're a little bit different. They're integrated in right with the rest of the departments and 4-year degrees. We also have a third kind of flavor of 2-year colleges, and those are independent. And those are in geographically different areas than the flagship. So on the UM side, we have Helena College, which is, sizable distance away, and they operate more like an independent college. And same's true up in Great Falls. So Great Falls College is affiliated with MSU, but they're physically distant. The last kind of flavor of 2-year colleges we have in this state is tribal colleges, which exist on tribal communities. And they've been very instrumental in providing some of the, in addition to higher education, but some of the cultural values that are associated with those communities. So it's a really interesting landscape here in Montana that's unlike anywhere else in the country. But as you think about Missoula College, think of us as a community college. We serve our local community. If you look at our student population, I'm going to say probably depending upon year to year, somewhere around 80-90% of our students are Missoula County, Ravalli County, Mineral County, Lake County. You take a pencil and draw a radius around Missoula, and that'll give you an idea of the majority of the students we serve. So we're very much tied into the community, and our students are, and they have roots here. And we have a stat we like to kind of lay out to folks that I think it's around 80% of our graduates go to work in the local region. So our folks they're vested, they stay here. Many of them are non-traditional. Many of them might already have families. Many are reskilling, retooling for other careers. Many of them are traditional students, 18, 19-year-olds. And then we have a whole nother group of students that are in high school. So we have a dual enrollment program where we have high school juniors and seniors getting an early start on college through Missoula College, and they're taking 1, 2, 3 or more classes. My daughter just graduated from Sentinel High School last year. She actually went into her engineering degree at at MSU with 27 credits of college under her belt. So she'll be in a position that if she wants to complete a bachelor's degree, maybe an accelerated pace of 3 years, or do some sort of experiential learning in the middle of her education, she'll have the opportunity to do that. So those are, just kind of a broad description. And then I have underneath the subtitle here, I say career pathways and further education. And I think that we try to create a path for every one of our students so they can go get a job, so they have a career available to them. And I think if you poll folks, this has been shown many times, that why are you going to college? Well, I want to get a better job. Seems to be the most common answer we find. We also do transfer education, which is a little more difficult to understand because we're right across the river. I look out the window of my office. I look across to Washington Grizzly Stadium, and we have students that do their first 2 years over at Missoula College, get their associate degree, and then they move forward into a 4-year degree. So we have that opportunity. So we have a core of general education here that serves all of our students. So that's kind of a really big picture of Missoula College, and I'll just kind of spend the rest of my time here just talking about some of the novel programs of study we have, workforce education that we have, and some of the things that have kind of taken place here. So let me flip my slide here. So we have a whole docket or portfolio of health professions education programs. And so some are very well known, like we have a wonderful nursing program, been around for a lot of years, but we also have some that are lesser known that we fall into a category that we call allied health. So we have a respiratory therapy program. And for a lot of folks before the pandemic hit, we didn't really know what respiratory therapists do. And now we do. And so these are folks, they get 2-year degrees, they go to work in local healthcare clinics and hospitals. And this is one of our simulation labs that students are using here. And it's been, there's really some really great stories through the pandemic here of us taking all of our respirators and donating them for a period of time to local hospitals when there was a need. And so there's this nice kind of affiliation with all of our students doing clinical experiences, and this close collaboration with many of the healthcare clinics here in town. A couple pictures here off on the right. This is a simulation lab over in our nursing program. And then over on the left here is you guys recognize that crazy bear up on top there, but we just opened a new program here in October for paramedics. There's a huge need in rural Montana for paramedicine, for first responders. And so we had an opportunity to build a new program with that, and we added that to our programs of study in the healthcare education areas. We also have surgical technology program and a radiology technology program. And recently we've built a medical assisting program. And if you want to know what a medical assistant does, we've seen in the last 5 to 10 years, a real rise in these urgent care centers, these now care centers around town. And they do a little different form of medicine where they help folks out. I don't know, I took a fall a couple months ago and I needed stitches, and went in there and they stitched me up, were able to take me in, and 15 or 20 minutes later I was out of there, and it was a much more reasonable bill, honestly. And I was served by a medical assistant. They helped me kind of get through that process. So that's a really neat and innovative form of medicine. We also do medical coding. There's lots of demand for folks that work for places like Allegiance and other benefit management places, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and having those people who are skilled to understand the billing process and coding and all that stuff. We provide that education here. We also have multiple campuses. I mentioned our River campus, but we also have our West campus, which is located out at the kind of edge of Fort Missoula, between Fort Missoula and maybe where Target Range School is, as far as landmarks go. And out there we have trades education, and we have industrial trades out there, diesel mechanics, construction. We just can't get enough people out in the construction industry right now. We have short programs that can be anywhere from a year to 2 years to provide that education. But we started a new program called Job Site Ready, where we work with students over a short 1 week period, make sure that they get their OSHA safety training, that they have a good overview of how to use tools and appropriate tools, and they're ready to go out on a work site in a week. It's been innovative, and it's been a nice way to address some of the shortages that are out in the workforce right now. We also have a diesel mechanics program out there. We have welding, machining, and then lastly, one that we like to brag a lot about is our heavy equipment operation. And so these heavy equipment operators are, it's a 1 year certificate. Students are in and out there in a year, and they receive some of the highest entry-level salaries of anybody at the University of Montana. They started a great salary, and they're able to get a return, a really savvy return on their education investment. I'm going to try to show a video here, and this is one of our construction students. Hang with me for a second here.
The student-built houses are a big project. The structure of our program is built around the entire building process, and so students get an opportunity not just to focus on one part of it, but to really see the entire process.
The vocational training is you're outside, you're working with your hands, you're working as a team.
While you do have some book learning, it is all hands-on. So you get to learn from the ground up. And it's not just about hammering nails and screwing screws. Take your education farther.
I learned AutoCAD, I learned some math, I learned how to do technical writing, I learned how to do some management.
You know, there's green building, advanced wood building, scheduling and maintenance. I mean, everything that goes into a production for building a house.
Our faculty and a lot of people that are in construction education are in it because they want to share what they know. The level of expertise that they have is unmatched.
They seemed to really be passionate about it. They talked about the industry, which I think was tremendous because it gave you a bigger picture of what to expect going into this field.
The exposure to the industry is big. They can talk to the people that are in the industry, they can talk to the business owners, and they can start to make those connections. If they want to get a job out of this, our placement is nearly 100%.
I would definitely point out how cost-effective this program is.
Really great opportunity, very inexpensive way to get a lot of skills and a lot of knowledge in a pretty short period of time.
Because of that, you're getting a value by coming here and interacting with this staff here. It puts you in the path to succeed in that industry.
So that's a little video that we used. We advertised. Whoop, it just crashed there. Apologies. We still on? Can you guys still see the presentation? Give me a little thumbs up if you're okay. All right, sorry about that. Let me present a couple more things, and I want to open up some questions here. So we also we have some really niche programs. We have a culinary arts program, chef school. So that's been a very popular program, and we have just wonderful kitchens in this new building here. We have a niche program for legal studies, and a really great job with a 2-year degree is working at a law firm. And we have paralegal study program here that has been approved by the ABA. It's the only one in the state of Montana, and it provides a really important service to the law community. We have a really great IT program. Technology industry is booming in the Missoula region, and I mentioned some of the kind of cool things that are going on with that. One of them is we've formed apprenticeships where students are coming to college for their first semester as their pre-apprenticeship program. They then begin an apprenticeship their second semester, but continue at a part-time basis in work and in a full-time basis at school. Over the summer, they're full-time employed at a local technology firm. In the fall, they come back part-time with their work, and then full-time for the remainder of the year, finish off their 2-year degree, and then they're on to a really, really great career in IT. We just started a new partnership with Amazon and cloud computing. We're doing a lot with cybersecurity education, and then a lot of our students go on to complete a bachelor's degree as well. We also have business degrees and accounting degrees, and there's always a high need for folks in business community for bookkeepers and accountants, and folks in sales and marketing. We also started a program recently where we're offering all of our general education online, and we're working with an organization to provide active military education, or a fast start in their education while they're still serving. So we have a program that we've just launched here where folks that might be anywhere in the world have the opportunity to take online general education courses from the University of Montana through Missoula College. The last one I mentioned in my introduction here is that we are also working very closely with the high schools in our area and providing dual enrollment and helping students get a start on their education. But the research has shown us is that those folks who take just one dual enrollment course are more likely to go on to college, are more likely to graduate from college, are more likely to have better academic results, higher GPAs, things like that. So it's been a very, very successful program. We've been doing that here at Missoula College for just about 10 years now. So and we've seen more recently here that the growth just really take off. So that's kind of been something that we've been really proud of. And then I'm going to stop my presentation there and just maybe open up and use the time for some questions. So bring everybody back into the Hollywood squares here. Does anybody have any questions you'd like to ask? Yeah.
And, yes. Thank you for that. And very exciting what you have going on there. A couple questions. Is your cafe open to the public now?
We're still shuttered.
Okay.
And we'll probably remain shuttered until late August is what we're going to do, a relaunch, an opening. And we'll have some stuff planned and get it announced out in the community, but we're closed down right now.
Great. Also, do you have, are there apprenticeship programs other than the IT?
Yes, there are. We have apprenticeship programs in medical coding. We have apprenticeship programs in accounting technology. We have apprenticeship programs, I think, in medical assisting. And we're just starting to get some things going out with our industrial trades program. There's trade-offs with that it sounds really good with particularly for like a carpenter, apprenticeship sounds great for that. The kind of the disadvantage of it is that we have some other kind of really strong experiential activities that we won't be able to do if we jump to that model right away. So for instance, you saw that video, they build a house out there every year. And then they use the revenue from that to build the next house, and they sell it at a very discounted rate to humanities, housing for humanities, forget the program. But they sell it to for a good cause, and then they're able to generate that. And so we're on a fence about that a little bit. Can we do both? And right now, I'm not sure we can. So that even though it sounds really appealing, it takes away from another really appealing project that we have going on there. So, but all of our students are asked to do at least an internship of 90 hours, so they get some kind of work experience. Our we just came up with a number from counting up the total number of hours that our health profession students have served in their clinical experiences, and it was 5 digit. It was big. It was a really big number that those folks served out there. So all of our students have very, very strong ties with the jobs that they're going to go into.
Thank you.
My dogs decided to bark right as I started to ask, so I apologize. But I had a couple questions. First, I was wondering, with the trades program, if you guys are seeing a boom with all the construction boom going on of people enrolling in that.
It's really hard to tell right now because of the pandemic has kind of dampened a lot of things. So this last year, no, we haven't. But our applications are way up for fall of 2021. And we'll see where that lands. I just tell you that it's been a really tough year for enrollment at all community colleges and 2-year colleges across the country.
And then kind of building on that, I mean, I know that UM has struggled and this is kind of an anomaly year anyway, but before the pandemic, were you having the same enrollment issues as UM, or did you see more of an incline?
We were prior to that, we were pretty flat for 3 years, but I think all of us since, and this sounds kind of unusual, but usually when the economy is good, 2-year colleges see drops in enrollment. There's less people that are coming back for those types of training experiences. So we've seen our enrollment peaked at the last recession. What we have found is that we've seen 2 sides of enrollment too. We've seen an increase in enrollment with our dually enrolled students. We've seen a huge spike with that. And so that's added, and there are students too, and some of those folks are making really strong strides in pursuing a degree while they're still in high school.
Jim Harmon.
There we go. On behalf of a grandchild of mine, a granddaughter, I ask the following questions. Would she be comfortable in construction trades? I saw you featured one woman in the video. Are there more females getting into that area?
That's an interesting topic you've brought up. We see that there are certain fields that we don't have good balance in gender. One of them is the trades, and we're trying to promote more opportunities for everyone and more balance. We've seen some shift in other areas. You can think of some other maybe careers with traditional gender stereotypes. Nursing at one point, we didn't see very many males in nursing. I know that trend has really reversed itself. And so to answer your question, yeah, I don't know if it'll be 50-50 yet. We haven't got there yet as a society, but we do see plenty of women in those trades program.
And cost-wise, could you be somewhat specific in what a 2-year program in construction trade might set my granddaughter back?
So our tuition rates are some of the least expensive in the country, and I won't, because there's tuition and fees, but it's a bargain, and I'll just kind of guesstimate our tuition's about $2,000 a semester. And you can go to the official business site and it'll look a little more than that, but it's not that much more. So it's for higher education, it's a really great deal.
And what might I tell my granddaughter about the job opportunities at the end of this 1 or 2 year program? How lucrative a field is construction trades?
I don't have that specific information, but I know our faculty are very well connected with industry folks from the construction trades, and I could get back more information on that, Jim, and maybe a conversation with your granddaughter. And I'd suggest let's set up a tour for her. Let's get around, talk to some faculty, and they can talk about all those very specific things and opportunities in construction.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You bet, Jim. Thank you for your questions.
Glenn? You've got to unmute, Glenn.
Okay.
There
A
you go.
couple things. Thank you for a very informative presentation, Tom, but I thought maybe one thing you'd like to rephrase. A statement you made earlier in your presentation was that you put Gary Hughes higher up on the pecking order than your wife, lovely wife, Linda. And I also wanted to, maybe you mentioned what kind of enrollment are you dealing with right now, total?
We have right around 1,000 students that are taking classes here on campus, and then we have another 700 or 800 students that are in dual enrollment. So we're right around number around 1,700, 1,800.
Thank you.
Glenn? Gary, sorry.
Gary,
You've got to unmute, Gary. Okay.
I have one of my oldest son went to the 2-year program in respiratory therapy, and it's a great program because he went on to work at Johns Hopkins Hospital over in Maryland for 10 or 12 years. He's now with the VA here in Montana. And then I have a transitional student son who was in the military for 20 years. He's now 42 and he's in the job ready program, and he helped build that house and so forth. So he goes to class every day, and he always talks about what a great instructor John Fair is. And I knew John when he was a contractor himself. So kudos to Missoula College.
thank you, Gary, and thanks for sharing those success stories.
Yes.
And John's a really wonderful instructor because he has many years in the construction industry. He ran his own construction company for a number of years and is really well connected. We're fortunate to have John Freer. Glad to hear of the great experience that's taken place.
And one more question. I know Jackson Construction helps out a lot or something. That you have a great connection there with Doug Jackson in heavy equipment and so forth.
Yeah. So those the folks that are out there and as faculty out there are really well connected with the industry that employs those individuals.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Bill?
Yes, thank you for the presentation. I had a younger daughter, or my youngest daughter, graduated from community college in Northwest Colorado and transferred up to the University of Montana and did extremely well. And she commented that the level of instruction at community colleges was on par with the regular universities. I also taught at the community college there in Northwest Colorado and found that the students at our community college weren't your typical university students. As one of them told me, I don't want to be a greeter at Walmart for the rest of my life. So they're very serious about taking classes and continuing their education. And finally, I've taken a Molly special member event over with a cooking class at the college, and it was excellent and can't wait till we start it up again. So thank you.
Bill, hire you as a recruiter. I love the testimony. Those are tremendous, and thank you so much for sharing those this morning.
Sure.
Any other comments or questions? Well, Tom, it looks like we've run out of questions. Thanks very much for taking the time to meet with us. I think that was very interesting for most people here. And it sounds like you're doing a great job over there. I just can't wait till you open that cafeteria again, because I've heard about it, but I haven't had a chance to try it yet.